Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Well, happy Unicorn Day, everybody.
Okay.
Come on, it's Unicorn Day. Why
Yay.
not? It is Thursday, April 9th, 2020, and welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station travel show with Nancy and Lisa, the crazy mother-daughter travel team on our Love Your Parks tour, where when under normal circumstances we travel full-time documenting parks and their communities. You can see all of that in our Parks and Travel magazine. Just go to nationalparktraveling.com. Also, we cover travel in our Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Both are digital, interactive publications, and you can see that at blendradioandtv.com. Today's show, we're going to talk about moving forward in travel and tourism. We've got some awesome innkeepers joining us to talk about what they're doing to move forward. But before we get to bringing them on the show, I want to give a shout-out to Jerry Hagman here at the Homestead Inn in 29 Palms, California, where we are. We've been saying this every day on our shows. We were here to visit her for a couple of weeks. She's a dear friend of ours. We're right outside Joshua Tree National Park, and we're at her inn that she's put up for sale, by the way. She's retiring. It's time for her to retire. But we've been here a lot longer, Nancy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're like those house guests that didn't leave.
I know. So I know. Maybe we should just buy this, But everyone, you can see where we are. Go to 29in.com. So the number 29in.com. Beautiful 12-acre property, again, right outside Joshua Tree National Park. Also, we want to give a shout-out to Maria Coder and Jay Hassler of Bed and Brunch PR. Awesome press release came across our digital desks here, and it's all about all these innkeepers banding together. We've been, seeing the hashtags don't cancel, postpone, right? So when it comes to travel, I'm sure a lot of you are just like Nancy and I. Our feet are itchy, not because of athletes' feet. They're itchy to get running and getting back on the road. But they really created this awesome campaign. It is called Still in Business, of course, in with two N's, right? So all of these innkeepers and hoteliers, boutique hotels, have got together across the country. There's, I think, almost 240 of them have banded together to let people know and welcome their visitors, especially once travel is resumed. Some are kind of open. Some have wine bars. Some are doing cooking classes right now online. So a lot of them are keeping busy, but understand the power of working together. So there's the don't cancel, postpone hashtag, but there's also still in business hashtag. But I encourage you to go to the website. It's stillinbusiness.com, and you'll see all the links of all the inns that are working together by state. I mean, everywhere from Alaska and Colorado to Kentucky, where we're going, to the Bourbon Trail, Nancy. We know the Bourbon Trail.
Yeah, we do.
Santa Fe. We're going to Pennsylvania. So let's get the innkeepers that are joining us today. We've got 7 of them. We're going to start, because we're in California today. We're in Southern California outside Joshua Tree National Park. We're going to go up the coast, and we're going to go, we might as well go on a virtual vacation right now. We're going to go to Mendocino, beautiful, beautiful Mendocino up in Northern California. We're going to go to the Stanford Inn and Resort. So go check out this website, stanfordinn.com. Not only is this an inn and resort, it's got a restaurant, it's award-winning. It is a AAA 4-diamond rated family-owned and operated resort. It's got its own organic, USDA organic certified farm. I mean, this goes on and on how beautiful this amazing destination is. So we're going to welcome Jeff Stanford on the show. Jeff, how are you?
I'm fine. Glad to be with you.
Yeah, you too. And this is really interesting about your inn and resort is you really are like a working educational farm as well. So it seems like when we need to, boost our immune system, this is a place we should all come running to.
Yes. The kinds of foods that we produce are mostly for our restaurant, which is closed right now, but we do a whole foods plant-based menu here. It's just as good as any other conventional restaurant. It's just that we use whole foods to plants to create it.
Okay, very cool. very cool. And so you're a resort, a farm, a restaurant. So right now, is any part of it open?
Yes, the farm. We are taking all the excess plants harvest, and we're sending it to the food bank here.
Oh, awesome.
The rest of it is closed. We have canoeing and mountain biking and hiking programs and all of that, and that's all has to be closed due to social distancing. And we don't want any of our staff imperiled at all. And of course the rooms are closed. We're too far away from a hospital to be an essential hotel or service in that way. So we are closed, and we are also hoping, as the other 6 of us, that people throughout the country will postpone rather than cancel.
Exactly. I want to touch on the area that you're in, because it's beautiful, a lot of natural area to go and explore, but also the property. But I want to get on to our next guest. We're going to go from Mendocino. We're going to dip down a little to northern New Mexico to Santa Fe. The city different. We were there last year in the summer.
I love it.
And it has got to be one of our favorite cities. In fact, it's the oldest capital city in the country, and very historic, very multicultural. And so we're going to go to the Inn of the Turquoise Bear, and you can go to turquoisebear.com to learn more. And we're welcoming Dan Clark on the show. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, we're very excited. We love your city because it doesn't feel like a city. It is probably one of the most,
pretty.
Sense of place, right? Santa Fe. Just amazing.
That's right, very authentic.
Very authentic. And Turquoise Bear, I wanted to ask you, Turquoise Bear, where that name came from.
The name came from the previous owners who created the Inn of the Turquoise Bear almost 24 years ago. Wow. And it didn't have anything to do with our famous writer, Whitter Binner, who built the estate. It was really built around Native American culture, with the bear being in Native American lore a healer, a mother figure, a protector, and turquoise, mined locally, also being a very spiritual color and gemstone to Native Americans.
And that's not too far from you in Albuquerque is the Turquoise Museum, right? So it's
correct. Yes.
Yeah. We haven't done Albuquerque yet, but Santa Fe, we want to come back. We want to go where all of you are on the show today for sure. If we haven't been there,
we'd love to have you.
Back. Please tell us: are you open? Are you able to be open, or waiting this out as well?
Well, New Mexico currently has a stay-at-home restriction, and while hotels are considered essential, they have limited our occupancy to just 25%. So for us, that means 2 or maybe 3 rooms, depending on how many guests we have in-house. So we are currently open for business, healthy and clean as always. And our historic estate was built to create community, but naturally provides for distancing. We have 7 of our 9 guest rooms, which have private entrances from our gardens and don't share hallways or entrance areas with other rooms. So we are currently open, although we don't have many guests in-house now, and planning for the future, of course.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're at least open a little bit. It's just an interesting time. Let's put it interesting. We're all trying to keep very positive about this, and I think that's what's so great about this campaign is this, working together, a sense of community. And I think it's great for listeners and our audience, and also for your guests to hear that, hey, we're moving forward. And I think that's one of those important things. One of the places we went to last year, we went from Santa Fe we actually followed the Santa Fe Trail and the Arkansas River to Little Rock, Arkansas, and Natchitoches, Louisiana, and from there went to see our friend up in Bourbon Country in Kentucky in Springfield, which is, I remember driving through Louisville or past Louisville, and that's where we're going next. And it is on the Bourbon Trail. Central Kentucky is known as the land of bourbon horses in history. It's been ingrained in me saying that for how many years on the show, Nancy? I know. So we're going to go to Inn at Woodhaven, and you can go to the website, innatwoodhaven.com. We're going to chat with innkeeper Marsha Burton. So, Marsha, welcome. How are you?
Well, I'm doing very well today. It's a beautiful spring day here in Kentucky.
Oh, I bet. You know what? Our friend Stephanie that is out in Springfield, she's putting photos up on social media of apple blossoms and turkeys running around, and I keep saying where's the bourbon, but it's true. You're not that far from Washington County, right?
No, I'm not. It's about 45 miles south of here.
Okay.
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, or Louisville, as we say.
Oh, okay.
And, it's the largest city in Kentucky, about 800,000. And, we're open, and we're allowed to be open. And I have 8 rooms, and we're only leaving 4 of them at any one time open at this point.
Okay. So that's to give people distance, the social distance
right,
part
it
of
is. And we do have 3 separate buildings, so I can actually separate people that way as well. We're not allowed to serve breakfast in our dining rooms here in Kentucky at this time, but I've always served breakfast to the room. It's always been an option, so that's what I'm doing now. Okay.
See, everyone has to do something a little different, and I'm glad you're able to be open, and, even if it's, half the rooms, it's nice that you're allowing people to come out to bourbon country. And the one thing I did notice, too, that you're actually listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Yes, I do have 2 historic buildings built in 1853. They're Gothic Revival. It's kind of an unusual design for Kentucky. But they are on the National Register, and they're a beautiful example of Gothic Revival. And then the other building I built in 1998 using architectural details of the other 2 buildings, and it won the Home Builders Award that year. It actually beat out all the big McMansions here in town.
Well, you go, girl.
Wow.
Right on.
Right, it's a sweet little thing.
I loved it. I loved it. So we're going to go from bourbon country. We're going to go east to Mount Joy. I mean, who doesn't want to go there? Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, and so this is where, some cooking is going on Facebook. You got to check this out, man. This is very cool. We're going to chat with Nancy Skee of Old Square Inn. So go to the website. It's oldsquareinn.com, and that's old with an E on the end. And welcome, Nancy. How are you?
Thank you, Lisa. I'm well. And every time you say Nancy, I know you're talking to your partner, but I want to say, what, Lisa? What do you want?
I'm going to have 2 moms on the show here.
Yes, you are going to have 2 moms on the show. Yes, we are in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, in beautiful Lancaster County. And we are not open at this time. We're on a stay-at-home order, but I was trying to think of a way where I could still stay in touch with my guests because innkeepers kind of miss their people. So I started doing online cooking demonstrations on Facebook every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it's less than 20 minutes long, and I post ingredients, and people can cook right along with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. It's so
that's
cool.
That's very smart.
Yeah,
like it.
A lot of innkeepers I know, what they do is they do, give out recipes. They are in cookbooks and things, and that's part of the whole inn experience to me is what you're eating and learning about food and learning to cook and maybe eating something that you've never had before. Is there something in particular that you're known for?
Everybody loves our blueberry baked oatmeal and our spinach quiche. So I've shown the blueberry baked oatmeal on one of the videos already. We're doing spinach quiche next week, but we've done grilled fruit and some scones, and videos don't always go right. And I was talking about you have to pay attention to what you're doing because you don't want to start a fire. So next thing you know, you see this smoke rising up beside me because I just burned the apples.
Now you're starting to sound like me.
That sounds like I like it.
It happens.
Yeah, that's and things happen live. Trust me. Radio shows. We've done shows in Haunted Inns before, and let me tell you, we've had ghost voices on our show. Like I'm not kidding. Some people don't believe in ghosts and things, but something happened.
Yes.
And they do. I truly believe that.
There's things that happen when you go live, and that's part of the fun of it. So
yes, it is, whether things catch on fire or you hear ghosts.
Why not? So from Mount Joy, we're going to keep going east to Ephrata. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing this correctly. Ephrata, Pennsylvania. We're going to chat with Rebecca Gallagher from the historic Smithton Inn, and you can go to historicsmithtoninn.com. So, Rebecca, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. You were very close. It's Ephrata. But if you were in Washington State, it would be Ephrata. So I think that, around the world, they just have these pronunciations of towns that are challenging, so you can always spot the locals. So in Ephrata, if somebody's from here. Same the way you pronounce our county, because we're in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So if somebody says Lancaster, they are not from here.
Oh, see, there it is. All right. So now listen, here's something cool. We were just in bourbon country. Okay, so we've got, the immune boosting food. Let's just take a look here on food, okay? So we start off in Mendocino with Jeff at the Stanford Inn and Resort. So we're going to eat healthy and whole plant-based food, and they have the organic farm. And then we go to the Turquoise Bear in Santa Fe. And Dan, am I right? We can order it Christmas style over there in Santa Fe?
Absolutely. Red, green, or Christmas.
And margaritas. They have a margarita trail in Santa Fe. Believe me, I somehow remember that.
Yes.
And then, okay, so
research.
At the Inn at Woodhaven in Louisville, I'm not going to get it right, you get to have bourbon, and then you go see Nancy and get a cooking lesson over at Old Square Inn, and then we go over to you, and apparently we can get wine. You've got a wine bar.
We have a wine bar on site, yeah. We have this large historic bed and breakfast. It was built in 1763, and a few years into owning this place, I realized that owning a historic house is very expensive, and just about every year some $10,000 thing would break. And I decided that every single square inch of this place needed to pull its weight. And we had a living room that was basically barely used, and had this crazy idea that this would make a terrific wine bar. And it just so happens that a friend of mine that I went to high school with owns a winery that's only about an hour from here. And so I approached Rich at Weathered Vineyards Winery in New Tripoli and asked him what he thought about having a satellite location in Ephrata, and he thought it was a terrific idea. And right now it's the only aspect of our business that's still open. We are selling wine for delivery or for curbside pickup. So, maybe back in the 1940s, 50s, there were milkmen, and right now in Lancaster County, I am a wine woman.
You go, girl. Cheers to you, and cheers to wine, because I think everybody needs a little, fun.
A little extra wine.
Oh my gosh, and how happy are people when I show up to their door?
I like that, because everybody's running for toilet paper. I'm running for wine. It was the first thing I did, No way.
See, you're my kind of quarantiner.
Yeah, exactly. We've been through hurricanes in Florida and wildfires in Southern California, so we know you always have to make time for a cool one.
That's right.
At some point. I'm just saying. So we're going to go from Pennsylvania. Now we're going to dip out to Asheville, North Carolina. And Asheville is one of those destinations, or the Appalachian Trail. Now, hopefully I said Appalachian right, because I heard that they'll throw apples at me if I don't say it correctly. But we're going to go to Pinecrest Bed and Breakfast and chat with Diane Rogers, and you can go to her website. It's pinecrestbb.com. So welcome, Diane.
Hey.
Hey. So
I'm the first to admit we're going a little stir-crazy here.
Do you need some of Rebecca's wine?
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. So you are right off the trail, though, right? Aren't you? Right
yeah,
off the Appalachian Trail?
The Appalachian is how you say it here. Though I'm not from here, so I still say Appalachian. Yes, it runs. The Blue Ridge Parkway and the Appalachian Trail both run through, very close to Asheville. So.
Okay, and so right now are you open, closed? You're kind of
closed? We're closed. Our travel plan is no leisure travel, so we're open only for essential travel. I have one room that possibly has its own separate entrance, and I'm not publicly opened. I did send all the people on my newsletter a link to let them know that I'm open for guests who have been here before. If they find themselves needing to make a trip through Asheville, I can open up for them, but we're essentially closed.
Okay. And so you've got such a, I mean, Asheville also, aren't you Beer City? We went from wine, now we're going to beer. You're beer.
Oh yes, yeah. Like the statistics change from day to day, but at one point in time, I know per capita we had the most breweries in the United States, and I mean, like within the county, I think we're up to 40 some. It's hard to even keep up right now, and a lot of them are still open for growler delivery. You can pull up and get a 6-pack. So because they're considered essential.
You see, this has turned into like a wine, brew, and booze show. Sorry about that. But it's what happens. No, but so now you've also got a historic inn, right? So built in 1905.
It is 1905, and it's on the National Register. Along with the neighborhood we're in has almost 600 houses on the National Register. And so it's a super historic neighborhood. And, yes, it's a 1905. It was converted into a B&B in the late 90s, and my husband and I bought it in 2016. So we've been here 4 years.
Wow, right on. And so now we're going to go to our final guest here. And last but not least, we're going to chat with Teresa Jacobson of the Azalea Inn and Villas in Savannah, Georgia. Like, hello. That just sounds so beautiful. And go to azaleainn.com. Welcome, Teresa. How are you?
I'm doing really terrific. I'll tell you, listening to all of these wonderful descriptions, I'm itching to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that everybody has, I can hear all the alcohol links throughout all of this. And I want to tell you there's a saying in Savannah that was shared with me by the innkeeper we bought the house from. And I'll make it quick. In Charleston, they want to know who your mother was. And in Macon, they want to know what church you went to. But in Savannah, they just want to know what would you like to drink.
I'm coming to see you.
Yes. And I'm with you. I have my wine is fully stocked, and I have a couple of hard liquors for my hard drinking friends.
Oh. See, she's prepared. So is it laid back? I've never been to Savannah, and a lot of the travel writers we know, they're like, you've got to go to Savannah. This is like a magical place. And hearing even the name Azalea Inn, do you have azaleas blooming like now in the spring season?
Why, yes, we do. Actually, we planted azalea bushes that bloom 3 seasons. There are winter blooming azaleas, spring and summer blooming. So we have a little bit of azalea 3 seasons of the year, though, seasons is kind of funny here in the South. There's 2.
Yeah, right, right. We felt that. It's warm or not warm. And, the other thing is I was noticed that you do weddings as well, or elopements, right?
Yeah, I love elopements. Absolutely love them. The intimacy of these small weddings is just, it's everything you want. And you get to watch a couple look at each other and commit their lives. I get to live my own elopement over and over and over again. It's beautiful.
Very cool. Now, are you open for people to come?
We are open, even though Georgia is under a shelter in place. We are allowed to be open because we're considered essential. But what makes us perfect for people that find themselves having to travel is part of our bed and breakfast is also 4 apartments, basically. So they all have separate entrances and they have kitchens. And the grocery store is a block down the street. So they can take care of themselves. We deliver breakfast. They can take care of themselves. They can enjoy the quiet and peace of a very deserted Savannah. But Savannah is so beautiful, so architecturally gorgeous that you can walk without violating that 6
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's like here where we are in 29 Palms in the desert. We go walking. I know the Joshua Tree Park is closed, but I mean we can see it. But we get to walk, and there's no one really around, and the desert lilies are blooming. So there is some peace and quiet. But we do all want to move forward. I know travelers are itchy. Everybody's going a little stir crazy. But talking about weddings and elopements, I want to go back to Jeff over at the Stanford Inn and Resort up in Mendocino, California. Jeff, do you get people coming up for weddings in your resort? To me, if I was going to get hitched, I'm coming out there too. I'll have to go get hitched everywhere.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of weddings, and I happen to be a minister. Another profession from the past, and I do a lot of them. And as your previous guest was speaking, it's exactly that. They're absolutely amazing when you have these weddings on your property. It kind of adds a certain energy to it. And guests that might be at a distance will stop it and just listen and look in, particularly for the elopements. There's never just an elopement, I guess. They're a wonderful experience, and they're wonderful for me. I've had a chance to actually cause like an adoption to be happening between two people that are getting married, and they're bringing children into it, and then they'll do a kind of an interesting ceremony where they will say, "I know I'm not your mother. I know I'm not your dad. However, I am in every way a dad when you need a dad," and it's absolutely beautiful things happen when people are getting married.
Oh, I like that.
That's nice.
I like that a lot. And, that's the other thing. Inns are, this is something when we think about this whole shelter in place and this virus, so many people are getting married, and they have to put their plans off. And I know we've gone through on our tour, our Love Your Parks tour, 2 government shutdowns, and just even how that disrupted marriage plans, even in national parks like Yosemite and places where suddenly, what's happening now? This is even more like harder because you really can't be around. And I thought, oh my gosh, people are going to have Zoom weddings just now, But are you, going to go to you, Dan, over at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear in Santa Fe? I can imagine you getting a lot of guests coming for honeymoons and even for weddings too, because you have those beautiful churches and cathedrals in Santa Fe.
Yes, we do. And our last guest last weekend actually were a couple who had planned a wedding out east about a month ago. She was from Albuquerque, and they refigured once plans got canceled and restrictions got in place, so they came to our inn, and it was just a couple, their children and their grandchildren, and they were married here at the inn. We do about 30 elopements a year. And we do have a honeymoon package, and yes, there's so much to do in Santa Fe, restaurants, galleries, nature, the land of enchantment. So we do get quite a bit coming for either engagements or elopements or honeymoons.
This is interesting.
We have an acre of gardens.
Wow.
Yeah, we have an acre of gardens, and
nice.
there's lots of places for guests and couples to come find a little nook, and we carry out the elopements. I often officiate as well.
Wow, this is so interesting because, we hear about weddings and honeymoons, but not as much on elopements, so I'm glad we're talking about this. What about this, Marsha, over at Woodhaven in Louisville? Do people go and get married at the distilleries?
I'm sure they do. They do everything at the distilleries. The distilleries are closed right now, which is bad for, everything's closed pretty much. But recently I have had, honeymooners staying here because, like your previous guest, talking, everything, their big destination weddings and honeymoons were canceled. And so since they can't travel to those destinations, they've stayed with me for their, a little getaway. And on the past, 3 weekends, I've had honeymooners staying here. So you just try to make it special for them, even though it's a smaller getaway than what they had planned. But and then we've always allowed people to get married here for small weddings. I used to do the big ones, but me and the inn are too old for that now. But now we allow the small ones, if they, at no charge, as long as they've booked one of our overnight accommodations.
Okay, that's nice.
That's nice.
Now, Nancy, over at Old Square Inn in Mount Joy, I mean, that's another great name, right, for wedding invitations.
Yes.
You do small weddings there, too?
We do. We do intimate weddings for 12 or more people, up to 20, and then we also do elopements. But our wedding package is a complete package. So we'll do the cake, we'll do the flowers, we'll do the decorations. They get their overnight stay, and we say all you have to do is bring somebody to marry. We'll take care of the rest.
See, that would be my problem.
Okay. Well, advance notice, and we can hook you up, okay?
Oh, all right.
Ooh.
That sounds good. Rebecca,
okay.
I'm thinking you can supply the wine for weddings, too.
Yes.
We can. No need to turn water into wine. We've got it already ready.
Oh, see, that's it. I like it. I like it. Do you do weddings on the property when you're open at the historic Smithton Inn?
We do. I'm like the rest of the gang, and I absolutely adore small weddings. So we have two packages, weddings for two and weddings for a few. And like Nancy, we'll go into the 20 to 25 people range. It's just, it's so special and intimate. And one of the things I've noticed is, in the big weddings, there's so many people you don't even see, and you're trying to make everyone else happy. Whereas this, it's just about what makes you happy. And I think my favorite thing is knowing that this great historic building becomes part of these people's story. And I find that the people who get married here are going to come back for anniversaries. And this one couple came back when their first baby was born, and I took their Christmas card photo that year. And it's just neat to have that special bond.
That's nice. That's really nice. Over at Pinecrest B&B, Diane, in Asheville, you've got to have got weddings going on, right? Because you've even got like the Biltmore Estate right there in your backyard, and probably also doing them on your property.
Yes, the Biltmore is definitely a place that you can get married, as well as we work with another little company called Elope Asheville. So if you want to go out on a mountaintop or in our backyard or wherever you might like to have your elopement, they can provide the package with your photographer and officiant and such. And we do case-by-case weddings here, very small, keep them under 10. So
okay. Good elopement place then, too, sounds like.
For sure.
Now, you talk about working with others, and that's something I picked up about you is that you tend to work, it seems very much with your community partners in what you do for your guests in creating packages and then looking ahead, and that's something I want to ask all of you, is looking ahead once, the travel shut-in is over, and then we're all going to run out like crazy fools. Like, hey, it's going to be bizarre. Now, it's so eerie out and quiet, and then all of a sudden it's going to be everybody out the door fast. That's going to be like a little preparing for all of us. But what are you looking at for doing? Because I think there's still going to be an element of fear that travelers are going to have. Some won't, and then some will still be, okay, somebody sneezed over in that corner, that's it. So, I'm thinking the outdoors, talking to some of our partners and destinations, they're saying, we're like with what we do, we promote parks and park destinations and the outdoors and nature and the environment, and I think that's going to be a major thing moving forward in tourism is going to be out and get some fresh air. So what are you going to be doing in regards to those kind of packages, Diane?
Yes, I work with, you're right, I'm good with partners, and so I work with Hike, Bike, Kayak Asheville, and so you can have, Dave is a certified Blue Ridge, Western North Carolina naturalist, and he will customize a hike exactly for what you want. Do you want to see waterfalls, wildflowers? Do you want to see vistas? And he can, he has bikes and kayaks as well, and so, it's really a good way to get out on the trails that no one else knows about. If you're going to head to the Biltmore House itself is can be a little bit crowded, and so if people are going to have some fears still, we would recommend to go to their gardens and conservatory. They have like 20 miles of trails. It's an 8,000-acre estate. So you can go and avoid the crowds by doing some of the other things that Biltmore has to offer. The North Carolina Arboretum is just about 5 miles away, and they have an extensive amount of trails. Once again, another place to get away from it all. And we even have our own little historic walking tour here in Montford that we wrote up for our guests, because although you can walk around and look at all the houses, there's a lot of details you might miss. And so we've even got a little brochure for them to highlight some of the things right in our own neighborhood.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool. I love it. Everybody, Pinecrestbb.com is the website to go to for Pinecrest Bed and Breakfast in Asheville, North Carolina. Going over to the Azalea Wonderland, Azalea Inn and Villas over in Savannah, Georgia. I feel like I need a new accent every time I talk with one of you. I'm like, Savannah. Go to AzaleaInn.com, right? Yeah, it's how it is. But any changes coming up with how you're creating packages or moving forward once, we can run outside and start traveling and going again?
One of the things that we're revamping, we have a little tiny fold-up that's called 50 Things to Do in Savannah, and it's all self-directed. So whether it's to take a trolley ride or walk around Forsyth Park and look for a particular thing, go get ice cream. And so we're updating it to get people out, and see our city. If they're still fearful, they can, if they're walking, they can obviously walk away from anyone else. We have 22 historic squares, so there's a lot to see, and each one of them have their own story. In Savannah, you need to walk to see everything, and you always need to remember to look up, because the architecture is stunning. So we have these little takeaways for our guests to walk outside and go see Savannah and some of our favorite places to visit, see, think, and do.
I love that, because it's, for us on the tour, a lot of our partners send us on story missions. So one is every town we go to, not only do we cover every single park we possibly can, it's public art, it's finding literary stories. Hello, Dan, we'll see you in Santa Fe. There's farms.
Yes.
Farm is a big thing. There's all these different stories and history. It comes to, leaders of excellence and stories of excellence of communities and all of these stories, right? And public art, I think, in these historic markers that we have and sites across the country, it's like a treasure hunt, and it's a way to be outside, and I think public art is part of that as well. But I want to go back up to Mendocino, beautiful Mendocino. It's been way too long since we've been there, but I remember it just being so gorgeous, the ocean, it just feels healthy there. So, Jeff, I think a lot of people are going to want to come and hang out and kind of refresh their bodies.
Yes, there's absolutely no question about that. And we happen to be in a temperate redwood rainforest, so the fires aren't here. There are fires east of here, but when they are burning. But this is a very clean air place. It's filtered by over 3,000 miles of Pacific Ocean. And there's forests. We're in the redwood forest, so people can walk in there. And there's this new thing, we've been living with it for years, but it's called forest bathing. And that's just going into the forest and being really struck by the wonder of its majesty, not just of the trees, but of the ferns and the different types of plants that are growing under there. And the relative silence, very quiet. There aren't birds in the redwood forest as there are in other forests where they're like pine nuts. It's a very special place. We do have pine forests here right on the coast, as well as white fir. So there are different kinds of ecologies, so to speak, that you can just walk into and enjoy, or bicycle into, or drive into if you wish. There's a wonderful park just east of us. When they're reopened, it'll be a great place. It used to have the largest or the tallest redwood tree in it until a storm knocked the top off of it. But that's in Montgomery Woods. It's nature restores us. And I think that people will be appreciating nature amazingly more than they have by being trapped in cities and suburbs and not able to get out. And I think that all the places that you have that we were talking to today offer tremendous amounts of experience, opportunities to get out in nature and just enjoy it. And I think that's really what's important, to realize that that's our roots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's walking outside in nature, just you can't be worried, just slips away any worries you might have, and you feel better, you get fresh air, you get sunshine, and even sometimes when it's a little overcast, that's really pretty too. So I don't find any real reason to stay inside.
No.
That defines Mendocino. Mendocino's a foggy place in summer, and it's what people come here for. It's cool. It's a natural air conditioning. Don't need air conditioning. That's starting to change with climate change. Yes.
Yeah. It is changing. Everything's changing with climate change, even the weather here. It's been raining and cold here in the high desert, and normally it's 90 degrees already. So things are changing. I think Mother Nature, we've been talking about this on shows. And by the way, my coughing, excuse me, it was just the wrong pipe, and I don't have the virus. Sorry. But, it is interesting. I think Mother Nature, and it's really a hard time for businesses. It's a hard time for health, and the economic future is scary. And that's what I love about this conversation. It has some positivity for us all to look forward to. We all just kind of have to buckle in on it. But I feel like Mother Nature is also having some restoration time, some reprieve from us a little bit. So I think that's when we go back out there, we're going to have a little bit more appreciation almost, Jeff. I think when we get outside and back in the wilderness, we'll just really not take her for granted as much as sometimes we do. Yeah. The beauty.
Well, Joan and I can go for walks anytime. We're surrounded by forest, and on all sides but the ocean side, and we can walk along the bluffs there. We feel incredibly lucky, and we begin to understand why people come here so much, because they need that, and we need it after being in our home, which is nice enough, but with the business pressures of lack of business, that we're closed, and all those issues, that gives us such a reprieve. Nature is absolutely wonderful. And maybe that's why we have this gardening program here, because it's one way to be actively engaged and participating with nature. Because we use no pesticides or herbicides or anything. We're beyond organic, and we grow these bio-intensive gardens. And there's 2 people out there working now. They're interns from other places, and they form a unit so that they can work and they live together. But it's a very amazing process just to see it. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just trying to urge people that when they get a chance to get outside, they should get outside. And if they get a chance, throw some lettuce on their balconies or something like that. It's really rewarding, and it rejuvenates you.
I absolutely agree with you. And now's a good time, to get out and start gardening. And it can be even indoors, and put household plants are really good for your immune system, good for your health. They say that, just even looking at a picture of a plant reduces your heart rate, your heartbeat, your blood pressure and stress and anxiety. And so right now, because there is an anxiety that's going, universal with this, the more we can look at plants and look at nature and be around it, the better. And that goes with the arts. And I think nature and the arts are getting us through this. I know I laugh about wine and bourbon, but these are 2 crucial things that are getting us through this. And, of course, communication. This brings us to Santa Fe, back at the inn of the Turquoise Bear. And everyone to go, StanfordInn.com. Again, check that out. I mean, you're just going to go. I want to go.
By the way, I wanted to add, we also do an art program, and my wife Joan was an art therapist doing that kind of work, and now she just does play shops, and she's putting them online right now. We just put one up, or it's coming up today. And there'll be more of what she does to have fun with art. That's very restorative, too. That was a good point you made.
Yeah. You know what? Everyone should check out the National Parks Arts Foundation.org, because they do artist residencies for a full month where an artist goes into park areas, not necessarily always in a national park, for residency. So I'm just putting that out there in regards to some of the inns here that we're talking to. You guys might want to partner. I don't know. Just a thought came through my head when you were saying that you have something like that on your property that's unique. In Santa Fe, Dan, I think that is one of the most amazing public art programs you have in Santa Fe. Just even the Capitol building with, I think it's like 300 or 600 New Mexico artists are represented inside the Capitol building. It's amazing for people.
Yes, that's right. Yes, we list it as one of our top attractions. It's free. It's not a state capitol like you'd ever see. And as you know, Nancy and Lisa, having been here recently, New Mexico, our land of enchantment, is the 5th largest state geographically, but is very low in density. So it's easy to get out and enjoy nature, whether you're looking for the painted desert or the towering pine forests or the largest aspen stand in the world. Santa Fe and New Mexico has that. So you were talking a little bit about what we're doing to kind of focus future for people who are going to be traveling soon. We have always had itineraries for 5-day trips out of Santa Fe, so you can explore the land of enchantment. We also have put together hiking guides for short half-day hikes or full-day hikes or hikes that are worth a drive out of Santa Fe. Some of the best hiking in the U.S. is right here in Santa Fe and in the area. And then we partnered on packages, because of the food culture here with the Santa Fe School of Cooking, Wander New Mexico, and I've worked with Joe at Wander New Mexico. They do wonderful history and food tours. We have a solo traveler package for guests who are traveling by themselves, since so many activities and packages are more focused around couples. And we've always, and for years, have worked with New Mexico wine and whitewater rafting tours. I mean, what's better than wine and whitewater rafting? And then being able to come back and enjoy a historic estate just minutes from downtown Santa Fe. But you're right, the galleries here in Santa Fe, whether you're looking for the art, being one of the world's art centers, world-class restaurants and shopping, a real authentic sense of self, all of our Native American pueblos. There's lots to do here. And you can do it on your own or with others. There's lots of different ways to enjoy our land of enchantment.
It's a beautiful area. One thing that it got me was how close the Santa Fe National Forest. I mean, it's like a beautiful 10-minute drive from the downtown area, the plaza area. And it is probably one of the most pristine forests. As we travel, we see forests, some are going through forests being logged, and then some of them have the bark beetle infestations. Some of them have been through fires. I have to tell you, I could not believe, we carry a Portofino backpack where you can take your own wine everywhere. Sorry, this is the truth. So you hike, and you can go to your favorite vista, the amazing view, and you just have a little sip of wine, and it's, you're not carrying anything bad into the park. You're not carrying bottles. Anyway, it's nice and chilled. And Santa Fe National Forest, I mean, we went up one afternoon. It was nice and cool. The clouds it was magic. There were wildflowers, and the forest was so green. I get giddy about that kind of green. Yes, I think a lot of people who have never been to northern New Mexico think we're something along the lines of Phoenix or Arizona, and we're much more like Colorado. We're actually at a higher altitude than Denver, and it is pristine. We have over 320 days of beautiful blue, bright blue, sunny skies. The air quality is always ranked among the highest. So we are very lucky and blessed to live here, and we always enjoy helping our guests to curate their own authentic Santa Fe getaway, because it could be for any number of reasons why they come and visit, and one guest is never like the other. Yeah. Hashtag New Mexico true. It is. It's true.
Absolutely.
It's authentic. So let's go across to Kentucky, and I can't believe we kind of did this route too. Back to Louisville and to the Inn at Woodhaven. Go to innatwoodhaven.com. The Bourbon Trail. How are you looking, Marsha? I know you're saying that 4 of the rooms are open. You've got 8. How's it going to move forward from here for your guests?
Well, I think guests are going to come back as soon as they're allowed to. From all over for the same things they were coming for in the past, for all the special events that we have here in Kentucky and Louisville, and our attractions, which, a lot of the ones we have here in town are nowhere else in the world. The Louisville Slugger Museum, the Muhammad Ali Museum, Churchill Downs, our Falls of the Ohio, and our fabulous park system that we have here in Louisville. And then, of course, there's that Bourbon Trail and all the distilleries, and as soon as they open up, people will be coming back to do that Bourbon Trail. And we also have just wonderful southern hospitality here in Kentucky, and a very varied, terrain with the mountains on the east side and the horse country in the central part with those fabulous horse farms and tours, and then the western Kentucky with the lakes and people have plenty to do all the time, and in Kentucky and Louisville especially, we're within 45 miles of pretty much everything.
And I hear your water is the best water. That's why
yes, it is. It won the Bon Appetit taste test.
There you go. See, there it is. Bon appetit to your water. I love that. So now let's go to Mount Joy again. We're going to talk to Nancy at Old Square Inn. Go to oldsquareinn.com, and that's old with an E on the end. So how does it look, moving forward?
Well, I know that everybody's been stuck in their homes with their kids and their spouses, and they're probably nutbags by this time and ready to get out, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have forest bathing at Old Square Inn. We have a lot of sunbathing, though, and one of the things that people love when they come here is to be able to use the pool in the backyard. It's a private pool for our guests, and we have over 8 restaurants, microbreweries, and patios that are walkable in town, so people can grab something to eat, bring it back, and sit poolside or sit on the balcony. And if they feel that they've just had a little bit too much of that luxury, we have a beautiful trail just 14 minutes away from here. It's called Chickies Park. There's also the Columbia River Crossing Trail, Susquehanna Outfitters, and I like to tell people that I go to Chickies Park Trail when I get sick of doing laundry, which is at least once a week, But, there are so many things to do out here. We are 20 minutes away from everything you knew you never wanted to visit.
I love that. That's funny. Well, it just seems like there's so much to see and do, and, having these conversations make us really realize just how amazing our country is and what there is to.
That's for sure.
I mean, there really is all these unique experiences. I want to go back to Rebecca over at the historic Smithton Inn. Now I've got it wrong. Ephrata?
Ephrata. Start with the letter F and
watch
go
how
from
I
there.
say that. Just as I said that, I went, uh-oh. I didn't say that word, everybody.
How funny. Well, yeah,
Ephrata.
so we're nearby, Nancy. We're in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So what most people know us for is the Amish. And it's one of those parts of the country that's, well, first of all, one of the things that I think is going to benefit us when this all comes back to life again is that we are a driving destination for so many people. We are within 500 miles of, I think, 50% of the U.S. population. So I think people are going to feel much more comfortable driving to get somewhere than flying on an airplane, at least in the early days of coming back. And like everyone said, we are surrounded by wonderful nature. Nancy mentioned the Susquehanna River and Chickies Rock. We also have the Appalachian Trail. We have just great hiking, biking routes, rail trails. We have a wonderful rail trail that goes through our town. You can bike to Lidditz, which is one of the coolest small towns in America. It got voted that one year. It was very fun. And so, there's historic sites. We're in a building that was built in 1763. I joke that George Washington didn't stay here, but he could have. And there's all kinds of very interesting museums. Walking distance from our property is the historic Ephrata Cloister, and it was built in the early 1700s. It's listed in the 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. And there's art galleries, there's theaters. So depending on, how safe people are feeling, there's lots of outdoorsy hikes and walks and bikes. There's restaurants with outdoor patios. All the restaurants around here are doing takeout. So I think our community is going to be really well situated to come back slowly as people feel comfortable. The community is very tuned in and compassionate, and it's a tourism destination like all the others here on this call, and I think we are very sensitive to the needs of travelers in ordinary times. So we're very sensitive to them in extraordinary times, and cleaning protocols have tripled, and all those sorts of things to be sensitive to people's needs when they do feel ready to come back and travel again.
I think it's kind of turned the tourism quality up in some ways. It's kind of like, okay, and also made us all really appreciate what we have. I mean, listening to all of you, Nancy, let's get out of here, man. I love it here. Don't get me wrong. I love the Homestead Inn, and I love our friend Jerry, and I love Joshua Tree and 29 Palms, but I'm jonesing, man. It's like an addiction, for us to be on the road. So you guys didn't help at all on that level. You've just made me really I'm homesick for the road, and definitely hope to see you all as we travel, and I appreciate you all joining us. Again, I wanted to give out the website for this amazing coalition, and I think if you're an innkeeper, have a boutique hotel, this really is one of those times for everyone to work together nationally. So go to stillinbusiness.com. Of course, the Inn is INN. Again, we want to thank Maria Coder and Jay Hassler at Bed and Brunch PR for putting this together and for introducing everybody. Don't forget the hashtag Don't Cancel, Postpone, and, of course, the hashtag Still in Business, because really we need to all work together no matter where we are, what we do. Tourism affects everything, absolutely everything. We do seminars as we travel, explain to communities. Sometimes communities don't understand the value of the tourism dollar, and the responsible tourism is what we're talking about, history and nature, the arts, bourbon, wine. So these things really affect an economy of a community. It could be a community of 300 all the way to 1 million. Tourism is part of it. It affects education in your community. It affects the quality of life of your parks, the real estate, all of it. So I appreciate all of you joining us today. Let's go, as we close off here, I want to say goodbye to each of you individually, and please give us your website and the best social media place for everyone to follow you. So let's start with you, Teresa, over at the beautiful Azalea Inn and Villas. The best place.
I want to thank everyone for this, and it's been delightful to share everything we know. It's azaleainn.com. Follow us on Facebook. Our chef is putting out cooking shows of our favorite recipes, and we look forward to traveling with you again.
Awesome. And
cool.
And here's the time to do this virtual travel, whether it's the cooking shows you're watching on Facebook, going on websites, watching videos. Plan, have some virtual armchair experiences, and then go do the real thing as fast as you can.
It's a great time to look at destinations you never thought of.
Exactly.
So some of us get stuck into going to the same ones over and over, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just have a look around and look at some places you never thought you'd be interested in going.
That's what I love about the website, the stillinbusiness.com. Suddenly I'm like, ooh, what's over here?
What's over here?
Let's go over there. So it really is pretty darn cool. Let's go to Pinecrest, a bed and breakfast, over with Diane. Diane, best place to follow you on social media and your website.
Right. Our website is pinecrestbb.com, and the best places to find us on Instagram at pinecrestbb.
Thank you so much. And over at Rebecca at the historic Smithton Inn in Ephrata, Pennsylvania. Did I get
You're
it right?
doing good. You did great. We have a website that's at historicsmithtonin.com, and you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you. Nancy Skee, not Nancy Reed, Nancy Skee, but they do rhyme. Over at Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, the best social media website.
We are at Old Square Inn. That's OLDE oldsquareinn.com. And the best place to follow us is on Facebook, just Facebook/Old Square Inn. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I will be doing our live cooking videos. And this Friday, we're presenting our table setting challenge. So be sure that you tune in.
And watch for smoke.
Yeah.
Marsha, over at Woodhaven the Inn at Woodhaven in Louisville.
Okay, just follow us at our website. That's inn@woodhaven.com, and you'll see our blog and Facebook there.
Awesome. Dan, at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear.
Yes, that's turquoisebear.com for our website, or you can follow us at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.
Awesome, and thank you. And Jeff, over at the Stanford?
Yes, you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and we're at stanfordinn.com. And thank you for bringing this all together.
Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate it, and hope to see you on our travels. Everyone, again, stillinbusiness.com is a website to go to. I also want to invite everyone here on this call and everyone listening in. We started a Big Blend community. It's for individuals that support small business, the arts, and, of course, entrepreneurs and destinations and communities, and, of course, all those involved in it. So it's for everyone to have a conversation and network around the world, and we're going to be doing a lot. We talk every day is a new theme of conversation. So if you go to Facebook, type in Big Blend Magazines or just type in Big Blend Community, please come and join us there. We're going to be networking, doing panel discussions on our shows, because really, as much as we can have this conversation and make it into a reality, the better for all. Together we're going to grow, we're going to learn, and we're going to do business.
That's right.
Yeah, we're going to keep the economy going.
Thank you.
That's how we do it. So everyone, Big Blend Community. Also, thanks everyone for joining us. We want to thank Jerry here at the Homestead Inn. You can go to 29inn.com. Tomorrow's show, we're continuing tourism with the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association. We do a show every second Friday with them and interview travel writers. And tomorrow, Nancy Mueller will be on talking about a place very close to Dan over in Santa Fe. We're covering Ghost Ranch, which everybody knows is tied to Georgia O'Keeffe, the amazing artist Georgia O'Keeffe. And we're also going to go to California Sequoia Country and chat with our friends over at the Sequoia Tourism Council. So that is tomorrow, Friday, April 10th at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to close with some music called Ham and Eggs. Now, Jeff won't be serving this to you, but, some other day, I think he's going to give us some whole vegetable food, right, for breakfast? I was going to say, Jeff,
Absolutely.
sorry. That's it. So here it is, Ham and Eggs from James Byfield and Blind Lemon Pledge. And you can catch him on our show on Friday 17th with his new album. So take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I found $1 in an old peacoat I wore for a long, long time. I couldn't have come at a better moment, 'cause I was down to 150 dime. I marched my dollar and that dime down to Big Bill's Diner. 'Cause when you tie your feet back on there, ain't no diner finer. Oh, Big Bill was waiting for me, standing by the kitchen door. He takes my coat and my pork pie hat and says, I know what you're here for. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack and red-eye gravy all over. If I was a pharaoh with 500,000 slaves, I'd abdicate my crown and throne for a plate of Big Bill's eggs. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack and red-eye gravy all over. was waiting for me, standing by the kitchen door. He took my coat and my pork pie hat and says, I know what you're here for. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack and red-eye gravy all over. If I was elected Pope, I'd wear them satin slippers. Just one stack of Bill's flapjacks and I'd win one for the Gipper. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack. Ham and eggs and a flapjack stack and red-eye gravy all over.